Pastor Blake, my question is about the use of marijuana. I have personally never used it, but someone close to me has and wants to keep doing it. As a Christian, what should we think of it? Does the Bible say anything about marijuana? Well, that's a very important question, especially here in the state of Oklahoma, where medical marijuana is legal if you have a card. Now, years ago, I came out publicly against the bill, which was State Question 788, which called for the use of medical marijuana. And the reason I stood up against that bill was not necessarily because I'm anti-medical marijuana. I opposed that bill because of the way that bill was written. It was written to open the door for recreational marijuana, and so, which I am against. Do I think that personally there are some benefits to medical marijuana in some cases? Yes. I believe in issues of life or death, severe pain, the comfort of the patient. I'm not a medical doctor, but when nothing else is working and that works, and medically it has been approved by a doctor, then who am I to say that they shouldn't use it if it's prescribed by a doctor? Mm-hmm. However, I do think that there are great precautions that ought to be taken. I do think that when you open the door for medical marijuana, which we have here in Oklahoma, that the next step is recreational marijuana. Of course, we just voted on that here in Oklahoma, and overwhelmingly it was defeated. And so I think Oklahomans are wise to the deception of recreational marijuana. What about the Bible? How should we think of marijuana? Well, God created the plants, which includes marijuana, but when God created all things, he created all things perfect, or he created them good, to be specific. When you study the book of Genesis, when God creates and speaks into existence, he says it's good. And then on the sixth day, after completing creation, he says, behold, it is very good, which I would conclude includes the cannabis. However, after the fall, sin occurred, or after the creation, there was the fall, and man and Adam fell, or man and wife, Adam and Eve, fell into sin. And not only did they fall, but all of creation fell as well. And so, what effects did the fall have on cannabis? Well, if we just look, it's been negative, except for those cases where medical marijuana has helped with patients who have been medically prescribed it by a doctor. I keep emphasizing that. But I think the Bible clearly says, especially in the book of Ephesians, that we're not to be drunk with wine, but we're to be filled with the Spirit. And so I don't think any type of hallucinogen is good for a believer. We shouldn't take things that cause us to hallucinate. Is it possible for someone to take enough just to ease pain? Yes, but where does it go from there? We have to be very cautious. Believers are to be filled with the Spirit. They're to be controlled by the Spirit. They're not to be controlled by hallucinogens. And so you can't just say God created marijuana, therefore it's fine. Because when Adam and Eve fell, so did creation. And what effects did the fall have on marijuana, have on humanity? And if we just look throughout history, we've seen that in many cases that marijuana has proven to be a gateway drug for further abuses. So again, this is still a debated topic. Of course, no one should partake of marijuana without a doctor prescribing it. That would be against the law here in the state of Oklahoma.